Alrighty, welcome everyone to our select board meeting for Tuesday, September 16th. We have lots of people in the audience and lots of cars in the driveway, so that's exciting. We have our first order on the agenda is to approve the agenda for today. There are some amendments to the agenda. The first amendment is, Eric. Is Eric here? Yeah, he's here. Okay.
You had to go out the car.
Oh, okay. So Eric has a permit, an access permit that came in after the agenda was already submitted. So we don't want to wait a couple weeks before our next meeting. I think it's actually 3 weeks before our next meeting to approve that. So if you guys are okay with that, we'll add that to the agenda. And then we were just going to get a little update from Zara on the FIT team, the Facilities and Infrastructure Team. Is that what that stands for? Okay. So those are two items to add to the agenda. So is there a motion to approve that agenda?
Yeah, I'll make that motion.
Okay, Larry moves. I'm sorry, who is taking them?
I am
You are
about to
taking
do that right now.
Okay,
You're gonna be horrible, but.
That's okay. I'll let you get that up.
I'm gonna second the,
Okay, and Zara seconds. All those in favor, say aye. Aye, okay.
Hi.
Okay, so, yeah. Yeah, I did put a call out and I got nobody for wanting to be a minute taker. So now we also have to approve, the minute, I'm sorry. I reversed the two, but we're gonna approve the the minutes for September 2nd. We just approved the agenda. Now we're gonna approve the minutes for September 2nd. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make that motion to approve minutes.
Okay, Larry moves.
second.
Zara seconds. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So now we are right on schedule for, we have Brian Voigt who is here virtually. And is there anyone else here for? Okay, you folks, oh,
I'm sorry, can I just say that the number of the planning commission members are here as well, so I just wanted to point that out to the select board.
okay, great. Thank you, Planning Commission, for coming. And if you want to, we don't need to put their names unless you want to speak, and then just say your name and then we'll put you in the minutes. So thank you for that, Sandy.
I don't recall, but Nikki Sabato is also here. For
Yeah.
CPRPC.
Yes, okay, so Nikki, were you gonna do some presentation?
Yes.
Okay, so if you wanna come up here.
I'm Nikki and I,
K-I, and then Sabato, S-A-B-A-T-O.
You can sit.
and you're from, I'm sorry.
Center for My Regional Planning Commission, CDRPC. Yeah, Nikki Sabato with, CDRPC. I don't know the select board very well. I have handouts for you of what I'm gonna go over.
Okay,
Can I pass them
yeah,
out?
I'll just read what we have on the agenda, which hopefully is the same thing. Which is, that Act 181 requires regional planning commissions to develop future land use maps as part of the regional planning process. CDRPC is currently working on a draft future land use map and updates to the regional plan, and the land use planning team will discuss Act 181's tiered framework, future land use areas, and the draft regional future land use map with no action from the select board. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes, so she wanted to.
Yes, Zara's the select board member, yeah, and then Larry and me, and anyone else who wants to see it. Larry and I could share one if you want to.
And one more.
So Nikki, it's just you and Brian from the CDRPC.
That's right,
Okay,
yes.
great.
So I'm going to give you an overview of Act 181 and the tiered framework, what we were talking about, and then Brian, our program manager, will clarify any outstanding questions you have or anything you want a little more information on. So I'll start with just giving you an overview of Act 181. So Vermont legislation passed Act 181 in 2024. And this updates Act 250 Vermont statewide land use permitting to create a tiered framework for location-based land use jurisdiction. So this changes from size-based jurisdiction to location-based. Act 181 requires RPCs to develop future land use maps as part of the regional planning process. CVRPC, we're currently working on a draft future land use map and updates to the regional plan, and we anticipate submitting in early 2026 to the Land Use Review Board. So I'll give you a little bit of information on the tiered framework. As I said, it shifted from size to location-based, and they divided it into 3 tiers. So tier 1 is composed of tier 1A and B. These are both areas for capacity for growth. Tier 1A areas will have full Act 250 exemption and transitions Act 250 jurisdiction for planned growth areas to municipalities with administrative capacity. The tier 1B areas will have up to 50 units exempt from Act 250 and limits Act 250 jurisdiction to encourage smart growth housing. In tier 2, which is the status quo, that the jurisdictional thresholds will remain the same, and a municipality can stay as a tier 2 and follow similar Act 250 review format. Tier 3 will have additional jurisdiction for critical natural resource areas. This tier is not based on regional maps, but will be developed by the ANR, Agency of Natural Resources. A few process considerations. As I said, the municipality must demonstrate administrative capacity to implement the local regulations to be eligible for tier 1. A lot of the growth will be accommodated in village and downtown centers and planned growth areas. The intent of the statewide RPC mapping methodology is to provide a consistent statewide delineation of future land use areas. And the areas are supposed to be for growth are mapped at a local scale. VAPTA, which is Vermont's Association of Planning and Development Agencies, they recommend defining your core areas first and then sequencing map development from the inside out. The process in detail, a little bit about the future land use map. So it's broken down in 3 sections: high density, low to moderate area density, and rural areas. A little detail about the high density. I won't go into a lot of that because I don't think that applies to Middlesex, but that's your centers and neighborhoods and your high density settlement and proposed new settlement. Low to moderate density growth areas, this would be your transition and infill areas. These are areas of existing or planned commercial, office, mixed use, or residential development. And these areas are generally adjacent to neighborhoods, or they can be standalone areas served by water, wastewater, there's also resource-based recreation areas, and these are large-scale recreation facilities, such as concentrated trail networks, lakeshore ski resorts. Enterprise areas, another area, mainly locations of high economic activity and employment that are not adjacent to planned growth areas, such as natural resource extraction and industrial areas. And then finally, there's hamlets in this category. And these areas generally do not meet the criteria for village center, or not yet, but they're really not planned for significant growth. And then the final category is rural areas, and this is divided into 3 areas. Rural general, this allows for low density residential and some commercial developments that's compatible with productive lands and natural areas. Then there's rural ag and forestry. This is considered carefully managed development, which promotes the working landscape and rural economy. And then finally, rural conservation areas of significant natural resources identified by the RPCs or municipalities based upon the ANR mapping. So this is just kind of a brief overview of the handout that I've given you. Brian, our program manager, he is here to clarify anything. I am as well, but if you have any questions now, we could open it up to that.
Are you going to talk about these next things, or are you?
I gave you kind of brief highlights from that. I didn't want to just read all of the pieces, but if you have yeah.
I have a question. So I'm imagining a map with a legend and different categories in the legend. Is the intent that every regional land use map in the state all have the same categories in the same legend and have like that kind of consistency.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry, could you just state your name? for the
Oh, I'm
record,
sorry, Tom Jackman, planning.
Tom
commission
Jackman.
member.
Yes, for the 11 regional planning commissions in the state. Yes,
So
that's
the idea is
The
that,
idea.
like in the past, RPCs would basically take whatever map the town had in their town plan, usually it was the zoning map, which was their land use map, and just kind of try to cobble all that together somehow. So this is meant to be consistent statewide.
It is, and it's, so it doesn't replace zoning maps. And of course, your local future land use map will still be what your future land use map is. But we are working with the municipalities, which Brian can kind of elaborate on.
Yeah, thanks, Nikki. So one of the things that the Act 181 legislation did was assigned to regional planning commissions to develop a methodology that could be deployed statewide. So not only are we now using all of the same categories, but those classes, excuse me, but those classes are for the most part derived the same way. Of course, there could be instances where we vary from the methodology based on some sort of local condition or constraint, but the intent is that in the development of the map that all of the regional planning commissions are using the same data resources to identify the various land use classes. Now, I mentioned that there may be special cases where we vary from the methodology. And in that case, we need to document that. And when we take the full map to the Land Use Review Board, which is the body that grants the approval for the map, we would need to justify why that was the case. So that would be more of a special exception than sort of run of the mill. So essentially, we'll be using that statewide methodology, and we can share that out if you're really interested in the data that underpins that.
I have a question. So a lot of this is over my head a little bit in terms of what it's gonna mean for Middlesex. So is there something, a statement that you could say that's like, okay, how will this affect Middlesex? In positive ways or not positive ways for that matter?
Sure, I'll take a stab, and then Nikki can fill in the gaps. So any of the state designations that you have right now, and you have a village center, correct? I
Yeah.
should know. I think I drive through it every day.
Yeah.
But so that state designation remains. So even though the state designation program will sunset next year, I believe, the designation remains, and it remains in place via the future land use map. So your village center, your state village center designation now will just be a village center in the future land use map. And that means, for all intents and purposes, that the same benefits you had under the state designation program will be conveyed under that future land use class. So closer to the front of the line for grant applications for work being done in that location within the village center, for example. So that's one of the big things. Tier 1B is maybe something to consider, but maybe for Middlesex, it's worth considering that a little bit further down the road. And so Tier 1B, for a quick refresher, is Act 250 exemption for up to 50 units, or I'm sorry, less than 50 units on fewer than 10 acres of land. So what that means, practically speaking, is that the project still goes through a local zoning and permitting review. You can't just start filling in wetlands and, paving over streams.
Yeah.
You still have to follow state law. But once the project gets through local permitting, it no longer then moves on to Act 250. If you
Okay.
get to yes at the local permit, barring any challenges, et cetera, then the answer is yes to the development. For development that exceeds those size thresholds, that would remain under the Act 250 jurisdiction. And that Tier 1B is not a townwide designation. If this is something that Middlesex is interested in, we can look at identifying the subset of the area of Middlesex that would be eligible. And so that involves things like infrastructure, complete streets, and density requirements, and so on. So again, that's, my recommendation would maybe not be to go after that right away. But if you are interested in doing that, we should talk more with the Planning Commission and or come back to the Select Board and discuss sort of more of what that might look like if there's a suitable area. So there are two other things that are worth mentioning. One is the road rule, and the other is this Tier 3 designation. Neither of which we can explain fully tonight because the materials are not ready yet from the state. So they're still going through the rulemaking process on the Tier 3 designation. As a reminder, that Tier 3 are the statewide critical natural resource areas. So think about your very large forest blocks, your habitat connectors, making it from making it possible for wildlife to move from one area to another. So not necessarily going to be, a small park somewhere or every piece of land that's in the use value and appraisal current use program. They're going to be looking at really the ecological quality and ecological integrity of the area and how keeping that under this Tier 3 designation would improve long-term natural resource viability. And so for Tier 3 areas, the threshold to trigger Act 250 will be lower. And I can't say what that number will be because we don't know yet. Again, that's still undergoing the rulemaking process. What I can say is that Tier 3 is not intended to preclude development. So just because a portion of a parcel falls under the Tier 3 designation does not mean that no development will be allowed anywhere on said parcel. And then the last of these is the road rule. And again, this is still details still to be worked out by the Land Use Review Board. But the road rule only applies to the Tier 2 and Tier 3 areas. And the vast majority of, well, unless you decide to pursue Tier 1B designation, all of Middlesex will be Tier 2, and parts of Middlesex will also have that Tier 3 overlay. The road rule will apply for single private roads. It will trigger an enhanced review if the private road exceeds 800 feet, and if it's a network of roads and driveways, so serving more than a single family home, the distance is 2,000 feet. Now, this is not something that's going to be retroactively applied. So driveways, private roads and driveways that exist now are grandfathered into the program. It's not like they're going to come, the state's going to come back and ask for additional permitting or oversight. But, there is a version of the road rule in place, but there will be a revised version that I believe, I just need to look at my timeline here really quick. Guidance for the road rule will come out in January of next year, and road rule jurisdiction begins July 1st of next year. And then the last thing I'll say about the process, Nikki mentioned the map is under development. We still got some work to do as far as that goes. We will have a draft of the map out in late November, early December, and we'll make paper copies available, but there'll also be an online interactive version where you can pan and zoom in the map, just like you're using Google Maps or whatever interactive map interface you use. And then you'll be able to click in the map as well and leave comments on the what you like or don't like about what you see in the map. So I think I answered your question and then some there, Liz. Sorry
Yeah,
for hogging the
thank
mic.
you. No, that was okay. And you did use the word, and I guess I'm a little unclear about this. You said the municipality, if you pursue this, like, is there, what is that? mean, I know what pursue means, but like, is there some obligation on our part as a municipality to choose some method by which we're going to,
Sure, fair
Do
fair
this.
question. So the only thing that's up to you in this future land use makes it sound a bit more draconian than it actually is. The town has the option of pursuing either a tier 1A or a tier 1B status. Tier 1B is something that you opt into, so you're essentially self-certifying that you have the in-house or contracted capacity to administer your zoning and subdivision bylaws. Tier 1A will be a formal application process, and that application, excuse me, is not yet ready, but that will also be coming out in January of next year. And you fill an application and then go before the land use review board to basically vouch for your credentials. Don't worry about tier 1A because it just doesn't apply to Middlesex. Tier 1B is something that might, and if we get to the point where you do want to pursue tier 1B designation, at that point, that requires a motion from the select board as the official legislative body to say that, yes, we would like to opt into tier 1B designation for, and then the specific area of town that you're pursuing that tier 1B designation.
do you, planning commission, have questions right now? Okay. Did you want to add any more?
I think Brian summed it up, but
Okay.
the only other thing is, as you work towards your next town plan update, then re-examining land use objectives and goals to see if they're still relevant if you do decide to pursue other options here.
Okay.
Land use strategy.
Okay, so when would be the next time period in which something becomes a reality that we start to pursue or have some action item about this?
Well, the draft map will be available by early December.
Okay.
Maybe late November for towns to weigh in and give feedback. We hope to have any tier 1B opt-ins by December 9th so that we can have it ready for the land use review board in early, 2026.
So,
December 9th is what say out there.
And
You-
that's,
you said tier 1, so that would be tier 1B, okay.
And that's really just the first round. I mean, we don't expect all the towns to be ready to opt in, or if any, to opt in to something.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's a good point, Nikki. This isn't a one-time deal. So just to be clear, you can opt in again, preferably by December 9th if that's what you want to do. But you can also wait until some other towns have had their experience with tier 1B to see how it goes for them, and maybe not be the leader in the pack. And at some point next year, we could have a conversation and you say, okay, it seems like it's working out well, other places, we want to try it here. And then we have to file a map amendment to the land use review board, but it's still the same opt-in process at that point.
All right. Any other questions? Anyone from the audience have a question? Okay, well, this has given me more questions than more food for thought. And I'm going to probably be relying on the planning commission to really suss this out and understand what these guys are explaining to us.
No problem.
Yeah. But I suspect too that you will also be coming to us at some point to maybe have maybe we'll invite you again if we have more questions or something like that. I don't know if that's an
Yeah,
option as well.
That's fine, Liz. I can't tell who was there from the planning commission, but they definitely know how to find us. If you want to
Yeah.
have a more involved conversation about that, we can look for some time that works for our schedule. If you've got other questions, reach out to us directly, have us come back out. Either way is totally fine.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I have just one quick question about town plan. Is it every 8 years, or can you redo the town plan whenever you want?
You can do updates amendments, but it's still due, yeah, every year.
And, but it does also have to go to voters for, you know, so it's a procedure. It's not something you wanna just be like, hey, let's amend it today and. So, and we did it when, 2 years ago? 3 years ago, maybe? Yeah, so we're not that close to the 8 years yet, but,
But it can be updated prior to the years.
yes. Okay, well, thank you for coming, Brian, and thank you for coming in person, Nikki, appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone for your time.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, a lot of.
Right, okay. Okay, so, next is the highway report. Oh, actually, we also are adding to the agenda, a non-actionable item of the, fire department is gonna give their update at the road report at the same time. So that's another amendment to the agenda. We, if you wanna give your highway report, Eric,
Sure.
and that would be helpful.
As far as equipment's concerned, everything's on the road except for the Freightliner, however, we're supposed to be picking that up this week.
Okay.
Worked on fall grading the last couple of weeks. We did some ditching on Shady Rail by Government Hill and we replaced the cross culvert there this morning, today. Working on getting quotes for replacing the heaters at the town shed. I've gotten one so far. Just for a ballpark, it's at $7,700 for both heaters.
Okay.
So. And let's see what else, Old Brook Road, I received the design that we chose, it's all been written out, and I should be getting the bid documents this week. So they can go up to bid.
That's it?
Can I make a comment?
Yes.
I just wanted to give Eric a long overdue thank you for the work that you did on the Wood Road Bridge. I think, I don't know, got thanked in public for that, but it seems like it's holding up and
So,
did you use a different kind of a material on it? Wow,
no, I don't know, got lucky.
third time's the charm.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks a lot. It's
Yep.
really very helpful.
Welcome.
Zara, would you like to give us an update on
Yeah,
some
just,
good news?
can you, I'm sorry, once
Sorry.
again, tell me your name.
Tom Jackman, sorry.
That's all right, you're fine. All right, so. Okay, so you probably already saw the front porch forum yesterday, but we had, 3 more projects released for, 2024. That add up to $1 something dollars. The last road for, 2024 Brook Road, that's 1.4 million and that's moving along. It's just a larger project, so it's gonna take a while. I actually did make a mistake in that front porch forum posting about 4720. Because we had 2 roads, one at 800. And I thought it was the 740 road that wasn't paid back, but we're actually getting close to 1.5 million or 1.6 million that's coming back to us. With the last road actually being Portal, which is only 282. So we're this close to 2023 being wrapped up.
Oh, my goodness.
I know. Then we've got to spend a little bit more money with Lower Sunnybrook. And I've got to do some extensions for a few things, because, you know, for 2024, we've got Old Brook, Bullbuck, French, and Farm.
Wait, Lower Sunnybrook is 2024 too?
No, that's 20.
That's 23.
23 is Lower Sunnybrook. So that one still needs repairs, but we stopped doing repairs because we were at like $10 million in bank stuff. So, yeah, I'll file some extensions and off we go. We're almost there.
Right direction.
Yeah, we're almost there. Really are.
That's great.
And we should have at least, you know, after these last rounds, gotten paid back like what we paid out for Dirt Tech. You know, the last of it should be just covered by these guys and stuff, hopefully.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you for all your work on that, because I know it's a lot of work, and I know that, you're always getting a different relationship manager and,
Got another new one.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, and, I'm sorry, so can you just refresh my memory? You said that for the Old Brook Road, that, you are getting the bids out?
The bid documents together this week, we're supposed to have those.
Okay, and a bid document basically says this is what the work that we want you to do. Is that what
So
it
we can
is?
go out to bid so that we can get.
Gotcha, okay. And you hope to get that done and
This week.
out in the
This week.
papers, or I don't know, how do you do it? Is
Uh,
there a website you can,
yeah, I have to,
all right,
We can ask Sarah, I guess.
yeah.
okay, yeah, I don't remember how that has to be done, you might have to like, I don't know. If there's
Something
like a
Sarah did for
paper,
us.
yeah. Okay. And then there's the annual financial plan for the town highways right here. It looks like all the select board members need to sign it. And then
We do that every year.
is this, the district transportation administrator is,
They'll sign it, that's.
they'll sign it, okay. So this basically tells us, the funds for,
It's just the guesstimate, they don't, it's not. It's based on. the
yeah,
actual
okay,
budget.
based on our budget, right,
Right.
okay, so,
In the past, they've actually had it for the administrative costs and stuff in there, and I talked to the head guy, and he said, no, that needs to be included, so. That report actually includes everything.
okay, what is this when it says under, income? Class 2, 465,
It's the money that comes from the state.
That's the money that comes from the state, and then what's the estimated, how much it's actually gonna cost?
Estimated as their budget.
Is whose budget? Our
I
budget,
have to look at that.
yeah,
What is this that you're looking at?
this is the annual financial plan, so like,
These numbers here come from the class 2, class 3, and town tax funds right here. And this is this is what their highway budget comes with. And this right here is the expenses. Basically, I fill in this part
okay,
and this part fills in itself.
I see, yeah,
So, and then I put the notes down here, what it all includes, because we're supposed to include debt service and administrative costs, and that hasn't been added in there in the past. And he said that this number here should tie to the budget, the actual.
and it does,
It does, this number equals the town budget because it's.
for
it-
roads.
For roads.
What's some pretzels?
So you got the winter maintenance, the non-winter maintenance, and the general construction and
Okay.
wages, building and equipment
Perfect.
cost.
Okay,
And there's the breakdown of what each one
Yep.
is.
all right, so we just need to sign this, and we need to make a motion to approve it, so this is there a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve.
Give a one right now, then I know exactly what it is you're doing. Motion to approve the annual financial plan for town highways. For 19.
Annual what?
Financial plan,
For highway.
yeah, town highways pursuant to 19. BSA. Statute 306. J. Okay.
I'll make that motion, Liz.
All right, Paul has made the motion. Is there a second?
Seconded.
Larry seconds it. All those in favor of signing it, say aye.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
so let's not forget to sign it, and 3 of us will make a quorum. So I don't think Paul, and we know Stacy can't sign, but I don't think Paul needs to come down unless you want
Paul
to.
can hop in. It'll be on the counter for you to sign, Paul.
Did you hear that, Paul?
Cheryl, you
It'll be on
can
the
sign
counter
with,
For you to sign.
you can sign with my permission.
Okay.
Question before we go off this.
Yeah.
You remember when, our representative let us know about maybe $75,000 to $50,000, some FEMA, something, and we were supposed to know that by early September, whether we were getting.
Oh, that's right, from the state.
I signed a piece of paper for that today, I think.
How much did we get?
It doesn't say, it just says we get the money.
Oh, okay, great.
Oh, that was, yeah, it wasn't what we thought. We were hoping for something like 50 to 75, but I think it might be less than that. And it had to do with, I forget what it was.
It just said we had been approved. I needed to sign a piece of paper saying we're accepting.
Okay. All right,
Cause I think it had only to do with certain, disasters.
Yeah, it was.
If
just
that's
before
right,
10, and
yeah.
we covered 47.
yes,
Mhm.
yeah.
So I think 50. It's possible we got.
Yeah, it might be 50. That'd be great if we did.
Mm-hmm.
And we can really use it for anything, just put it towards our stuff, our road repairs. Okay, anything else about the roads or FEMA right now that anyone wants to ask or? Oh, right, the driveway permit while you're here, or not, it's not a driveway permit, what's it called?
Well, it's gonna be a drive.
Yeah, okay, so there's an access permit from, for James Robinson for Macy Road. And this is to construct new access, it's residential. You said that there's no culvert needed.
No, it's all downhill from there, so.
Okay. All right, so, so not every driveway requires a culvert. Right, I guess it depends on the side of the road you're on too, and, yeah, okay. So, you feel like this is fine, you have no problems with it, okay? Any questions for folks? If not, is there a motion to approve, the application for driveway access permit for James Robinson, Robinson?
Make that motion.
Okay. Dora's moving it. Is there a second?
There's a second.
Larry seconds it. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, is it just
Aye.
me who signs this or the whole board? Looks like just me.
You.
Okay, let me sign that right now.
Was there a, I'm sorry, is there a Mason Road, what's the number?
I don't think it has anything.
It doesn't
Okay.
have. a number. It's today the 15th, so it's 16th.
It's 660.
All right, so, now, the next thing is the fire department.
Okay, so before I get on the report, I want to recognize Brendan, our newest EMT, passed his national registry test today. Which in my experience was the hardest test out of all my classes, colleges, masters, Air Force stuff. That was the hardest test.
Wow.
So congratulations. Now he's
That's
got to go
amazing.
through the hard process. And then you stay places because the computer systems don't talk to each other.
Oh.
So it'll be a couple of weeks before that actually happens, but he's done.
I don't have to read anymore.
Except, didn't you want to become the emergency management coordinator? Coordinator? Yeah. Remember how I said you don't want me in charge of that?
Our other person hasn't taken the test yet, but
Okay.
did pass the class portion of the test.
Nice, good.
Now on to what happened
Leave out hard.
while I was gone most of the time. Our total calls are up to 53. We had 5 calls during the last period. One was a mutual aid out. Max number 7 and 4, average was 5, which is really good. Engine 5 and rescue 1 were both out 5 times and POV 3 times. So we had Shady Row with Triana Power Line. And then 31st of August, we had I-89, 2-car MVA, but VSP canceled en route. 8 September, we had a car versus power pole at 100B and River Road. So that was a mutual aid out to Moortown. On 13 September, the daily double winner, we had a car go off Route 12, just north of Bulldog. Fully electric car, so no fluids leaking.
Good, any fires?
Nothing, no fires, thank God.
Thank God.
And we did find out something that when an electric car breaks, it locks all the wheels. So
Oh.
it has to either be put on a tow bed, which this was about 15 feet down off the road, or once they pull it up, it's got to be put on dollies on the back. So beware that. And then as we were finishing that up, we got a call for an interstate accident, motorcycle versus bear cub.
Oh, God.
It was an Indian, which is the same size as Harleys that you usually see. The rider was transported, but he was up and walking around. So
Oh, good.
the motorcycle looked
Gee,
like it
how
was
scary.
damaged. The bear
Oh.
The bear didn't make it,
didn't. So
at least the man did.
our lowest, as you can see from the numbers here, all these responses are 4 or better. So it's, people are responding.
Mhm.
Fast Squad, we had a 20 total calls with 16 of the 16 medical only. Ladders, our training was ladders. I'm gonna say this quietly, we didn't have to do any repairs or any purchases. It is dry out, so
Mhm.
use the cerebral cortex between your ears if you think about having a fire outside. We much rather you postpone that than we come to a big fire that didn't need to happen.
I just got an email that reminded me for my emergency management duties yesterday, I think it was, that the state has elevated the drought to like a level 2 emergency. So
Yeah,
they're like
we're-
pulling together
we're
a
in
task force.
Severe,
Yeah.
severe drought.
State, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Drought and fire danger are two different things. But still, because we haven't had rain and I don't know how long.
Yeah.
Everything's extremely dry. Notice the leaves are dropping. That's another thing. If we do get rain, the leaves on the roads.
Right.
Especially for us bicyclists.
I guess, in terms of the drought, because it, you know, got me thinking, I'm like, okay, so. You know, is there anything we as a town would need to consider if people's wells started to dry? Like, I'm not sure, like, you know, this is why the state has put it into this like level 2, like task force, where I think they're pulling together their emergency management people to say, you know, what is it that, how is the state gonna respond if people start to, you know, en masse lose their water? I don't know the answer.
I don't know, the only place that I'm aware of in the state is in Orange County, or the pocket where people's wells have dried up. That's the only thing I didn't run any maps, but I haven't seen anything
Yeah.
for down south. I mean.
I know people's
while-
springs are dry, some people's springs are drying now, for sure.
While the river is low, it is still flowing. So
Yeah.
there is still water.
Yeah.
Invest in good quality water filter.
Yeah.
For yourself. Get water.
I mean, it may also just be for us to send a front porch forum message, just reminding people to conserve their water. Because we're at this statewide emergency level. I mean, I'm sure people already are, but some people I don't think are aware. Someone said to me today, oh, we're in a drought. I'm like, yeah.
There's commercial from the state talking about, you know, being careful with your.
Oh,
wells,
okay.
If you have any issues.
Okay.
Fall.
Oh, okay, good. So, okay.
Just a quick question, is there a total fire ban? No one can burn anything right now, or?
There, as far as I know, there's no ban, but I would say err on the side of safety and don't have any fires. That would be, you know, state fire warden and the town fire warden make that call. I'm just saying, as prudence,
Yeah.
don't have.
Okay.
Jason's not issuing any burn permits.
Yeah, I'm not surprised.
So,
Jason Merrill is our fire warden, and so like if people ever wanna do brush burning and all that, they're supposed to contact Jason first to get
Right.
permission before they do that. And, you know, I always just text him and say, can I do this? And he says, yes. He's not like issuing me a real permit, but he's giving me permission if it's questionable.
And then he
So,
relays that information to us so that we.
oh, he does? Oh,
So
okay,
we know that someone's burning at a certain.
okay,
Stand by.
yeah.
Yeah.
This is burning. Oh, it's ready.
so when somebody goes by and sees the burning and calls 911, we know that.
You know that someone,
It's,
yeah.
they're allowed.
So all of you, many people watching right now, just always know to get in touch with Jason, and his number should be in our town report.
It is.
Yeah,
Should be on the webpage.
Yeah.
It is.
it was on the webpage too. Good, okay.
Will you feel better if I do a front porch forum thing?
I have a quick question on this topic, if I could, real quick.
It's fine if you do it. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, Mitch.
Mitch Oshesky, quick question for the fire department. Do you guys have a rough idea of what percentage of people actually seek burn permits, or versus how many people just go and do it?
No.
Okay. I'm just curious about that, because I know, just anecdotally, it's pretty easy to see where your neighbors are.
I do know that, people reach out to me and I give them to Jason quite a bit. But percentage wise to what people are actually burning,
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't even.
That's a tough one, I realize that.
Yeah, cause I imagine a lot more people are just doing it.
Yeah, but like you say, this time of year with the conditions we have, does make you nervous a little bit, people are.
If you get out of
Their
hand,
property.
the air is dry too. It's not
Right.
just the ground is dry, it's the air.
Fortunately, it's been calm as far as winds, but if you get a wind with these conditions, it'll take off.
Right.
Okay, any other questions for the fire department or the road crew? Alrighty, thank you guys for coming in and congratulations again on your
Thanks.
success.
Thank you very much.
It's awesome. We're lucky to have you.
Have a good evening.
Bye, thanks. Okay, so just quickly, I just want to spend a few minutes talking about what I've been doing on the side for the buyouts. So there are I think 9 active buyouts right now for the town of Middlesex. Maybe 10, but I think it's 9. And 2 people have successfully, actually 3 now, have successfully closed and gotten their money. They're all on 3 Mile Bridge Road. Larry and Zara and I have done home inspections, so like basically the day before the closing, we make sure that the house is empty. We collect the keys. We now technically, once the closing is done, we now own this property. And the demolition will take place sometime in the next year, so that takes a while, at least 6 months.
Just a quick question, and it's kind of
Yeah.
like, will we get a PTTR now?
We should, right? Yeah, they're actually,
Give us a
I
flag
saw them in there
now.
today when I went in to approve another one, but we
Okay.
just haven't got the legal paperwork. and all.
Oh, I see, something for you guys, yeah.
Yeah.
And so one thing that I just wanted to give a little clarity on, is that, so we've got a couple things going on with these buyouts. One, like tonight, we have a Board of Abatement meeting. I meant to ask you if you printed out the agenda for that.
Yep, it's all
Okay, good.
done.
So we have a Board of Abatement meeting, and what's happening there is that, the flood, the person who was flooded, Gloria, who's coming in for the Board of Abatement meeting, she hasn't been living at her property. Her property has no more value to it. It's gonna be in a buyout, and so, she's requesting that we abate her taxes. And then, so we'll be reviewing that, right? We'll be going through and we'll be saying, okay, this is the situation, blah, blah, blah. Then you have the people who are in the buyouts who, maybe, like, the Paulins, for example, who were still living there and they were paying their taxes. And they paid their taxes, like their last installment that was due, right? That was through, say, the next February or something like that. Or November. So they paid their taxes through November, but they sold their property on August or September 15th, right? So when that happens, because they are no longer homeowners, they get that tax money back. And Cheryl had asked the question like, oh, is this somehow like sort of like an abatement? And I'm like, no, it's not. This is just a sale of property. And we just happen to be the buyers, so we're the ones who have to pay the taxes back, right? So if we were a regular person buying someone's house, we would sort of prorate those taxes back to the person, right? And then we would be responsible for those taxes. But because we are the buyer, it does seem a little weird that like suddenly we're having to hand money back to these people, but that's just the nature of the buyout. And as I said to Cheryl, in a buyout, the town is the definitive loser in a buyout on many levels. One is that we lose that taxable property. 2 is that we lose that taxable property in perpetuity, so we can never build on it again. So that land becomes not at all a tax revenue for us. And 3, there are sort of these associated costs such as abatements and having to pay back the taxes that they've already paid. The reason that we agreed to these buyouts is because we knew that that was the right thing to do for these people who were being offered a buyout through FEMA and may never be offered that again. And so that's really, where we as a town fit in these buyouts. And you'll know that places like Barry, for example, said no to a lot of buyouts because they didn't want to give up that property. They want to buy those houses from those people in Barry, but then they want to use that property and build up, right? And build flood resilient house, apartments, 2 floors, 2 stories up. Right? So there's a reason why they said no, and there's a reason why we said yes. We don't want people abandoning their properties and losing out entirely, and no one ever moves in there anyway, So anyway, so right now we have, so we've done 3 buyouts. There's a couple more scheduled sort of imminently. So we're gonna have to, one of them is a walkthrough that we're not gonna probably even do because the house is not walkable through. I mean, I've driven by it and I'll just say, it's not a safe place to enter into. And then that person will be doing a buyout, and that will be that person. And then a couple more, the paperwork's, now in the process of, in the next few months, we'll be doing buyouts. So I think by the end of the year, a lot of them will be done. There'll be some that aren't, but probably by December, a lot of them will be done. I will also just update you on the fact that Zara and I did go to the camping tent site on the Rich Road that was an Irene buyout. We did speak with, it's a young family that's camping there, and we did speak to them and said that they need to as soon as possible, find another place to tent. They didn't seem to be causing any troubles, and there were a lot of tears shed, and it's not a happy situation, and I wasn't gonna stand there and make them pack up their things and leave. But I did say that this was not, that they weren't permitted to be on this property, and the cold weather's coming soon, so I suspect they will be going shortly anyway. I'm not sure where. So, but just so we know, these buyouts and all of these properties are going to be, sort of ripe for potential vandalism or, before the places get demolished. So we're keeping the places locked. That's not necessarily gonna stop people from, trying to get in. And then once they are demolished and the process is done, the state monitors this. I mean, I don't know, FEMA requests this. So as long as there's FEMA, they're gonna request that we monitor these properties, or the state monitors these properties every 3 years to ensure that they are vacant. And because of this road, we know that some people aren't buying out. So we still have people living on this road. We're just gonna sort of have these houses that are demolished and gone. So anyway, that's where we are with the buyout process. And it's a lot of paperwork. And so Cheryl, thank you for your help on it, and thank you to the board for pitching in, when you need some assistance. Okay, so, it is.
Ask a quick question on this topic?
Yep.
This is Mitch again, I'm just curious if there's a place where the properties that are in the buyout, and I know it's longer term, but demolition process, are those documented somewhere? The reason I asked is, as the E911 coordinator, I try to keep on top of these things so that eventually I can notify the state E911 board when a property, when a dwelling no longer exists.
Okay.
So they can remove it from the tax or the E911.
Well, I almost think, like you said, Shelley, won't you be getting something from a zoning standpoint, Shelley? Not zoning, a lister standpoint? Yeah. Won't you be getting something from a lister standpoint? That's what you were asking, right? Like when these buyouts are completed, you'll somehow learn about this or
Well,
not?
when they're demolished, the property will go down to 0 except for the land, but they'll turn to also non-taxable because we own them.
Like,
Okay.
I could just talk to Cheryl about that.
Yeah, and
Sure.
I have like a running tally of like where people are at and who's completed and everything, but the demolished part hasn't happened
I
yet,
know
so I don't
both
know if
are
you're,
longer term.
Yeah.
This is not anything,
so this is more about like, yeah, okay, whether or not there's an address there.
nothing in the near term, anything
Yeah.
to worry about, but I just don't wanna let it slip through the cracks.
Yeah,
because
yeah.
That does happen.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. Okay, so, I don't think we actually have the final review of the, Stacy, were you planning, Stacy, on talking about the, purchasing policy, but I don't see it here. And it's fine if you weren't.
I think it was on, she sent it to us online.
Oh, she did?
Email?
Stacy?
Stacy, are you there? You need to
You know,
unmute yourself.
It's been all rainbows and sunshine, but I think we're getting to like nowhere's land that you guys are cutting in and out.
Okay. All right, so let's just, we'll just keep this
Pushing it.
Yeah, we might maybe even want to push it off until she returns.
Yeah, when are you back, Stacy?
November?
November.
Yeah,
Let's do it. in
yeah,
November.
let's just wait until November so that we don't have it on our agenda.
Okay,
And then we can have you here in person. Is that okay with you?
that's fine by me. This,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, so, the next thing is, you know what, so we have some correspondence.
Excuse
But
me,
there's
is there
more than
anything gonna be discussed about the signage in the Brook Road intersection?
No, I'm sorry, are you Aaron?
Yes,
So under correspondence, we should say that Aaron.
Okay, so why don't you, we
Sure.
can move to that, because that's where we're at right now.
Called me about the signage. I got in touch with VHB Pioneer, who is going to be doing the work. I have gotten no call back. Everybody else that has listed was doing their job in 2018, don't seem to be there. So if you have a better handle on who to contact or somebody else does. I'm a
About,
little bit at a loss about the signs.
yeah,
So
about this
we don't
project,
even
yeah.
know, like, is the stop sign from Center Road going away? Is that gonna be a yield?
Yeah,
Is it
so we
stop?
kinda,
So it's like specifically that intersection. We don't care about the arrows and the signs.
no, I mean, I don't think we need an arrow, if there's a tree there, we know we gotta turn, but
Mhm.
that's a different topic, but.
Unfortunately, Aaron, yes, no, in the week since we've spoken, I have not.
I
Okay,
forget how we
so-
found out about this again just now. Was this because we just asked Eric or
No,
he sent
because
us
somebody
something,
from the
right?
community emailed and said, hey, I ran into a guy who was putting posts up, what's going on? And then Eric found the
Okay.
minutes from 2018 and then again from 2023.
Right.
When it was signed off on. Who put the posts up? VHB Pioneer.
So I know that it went out to the town that there's gonna be a change, and I guess I would just like to know what that change is prior to that change happening, because I happened to be at a town meeting. I don't remember if it was the 2018 or the 2023 when this topic was up. And, you know, the thought, I don't think was completely thought through, because removing that stop sign is not gonna work. If that is in fact what's happening.
Right.
And I am definitely opposed to adding another stop sign, which. In state fashion, I sure hope that's not what they're gonna do to the top of Brook Road, because it's a straight road, there's no need to stop. You know what I mean, there's a stop perpendicular Center Road. But I don't wanna, you know,
No, we need to, there's a lot of things that come up and we wanna take them as they
so
are.
what I see for stakes is it appears to me that there might be a stop ahead stake. And a stop stake at the top of Center Road, the top of Brook Road.
Mhm.
So we're gonna stop traffic in two directions, cause you can't remove the stop coming down Center Road. Cause somebody coming down from our direction, from Rumney,
Would crash into
would,
them if
would
they
crash
didn't
into,
stop.
you know what I mean, you'd have to make it a three-way stop.
Yeah.
And, you know, the people coming down Center Road obviously need to obey the stop, I know a lot of them roll through. But the reality is, you know, stopping traffic and then having to start and climb the hill for Brook Road for no reason, that's how I see it. It's a straight road for over 100 years, it's been fine, I just don't know what we're doing there.
Yeah.
Did you see, I mean, I'm looking at this email from Eric and there's like this.
I think I forwarded all the people.
Yeah. I-
Yes, you
I've been
have
through it
all that,
and
yeah.
It's not clear.
Sandy?
So my understanding is that the state is somewhat making Center Road be the main thoroughfare. So Brook Road is the secondary road. So that's why they're putting the stop sign on Brook Road. But if you're traveling down Center Road from like your house,
Right.
make the turn and you continue on Center Road, you don't have a stop sign.
Well, you don't know.
Right, but the problem he's saying, and I'm seeing, is if the stop sign that's there on Center Road is removed now, as I'm headed to Aaron's, and
Right.
there's no stop sign here, then what happens when two cars both wanna go that way? Like one wants to go straight on Brook.
You'd have to stop the traffic coming from our houses. Coming down the hill, because what's gonna tell the person who wants to go straight on Brook Road? You know what I mean? It's not perpendicular, it's just not gonna work. And the intersection up by Stowe High School is a prime example, it's just a joke.
It-
I understand people's passion for wanting Center Road to be continuous,
Well,
but I think you'd need to like buy land and move the bridge up. And make Center Road what it is and Brook Road perpendicular to Center, but that's not how it is.
Yeah.
So,
So my apologies, I wasn't able to get very far because I
Yeah.
was emailing a bunch of people who no longer at their positions, but
But according to this map, unless I'm just missing, okay, what's this?
I think the long and the short of it, Aaron, is we're gonna need to still work on this week.
Oh,
yeah,
there it is.
To get in touch with the right people so
that's
that,
fine, I
We
just,
can
I see
stop
somebody put stake
disaster.
out, and I don't wanna see them plunk a stop sign down and. Change traffic pattern that's been there for 100 years.
Don't they have some kind of procedure where they should be notifying the public when they're changing stuff like that?
you would think, I mean, we didn't even know until somebody was like, hey, I talked to some guy putting stakes in the road, he said this. Which
Well,
is
guys,
why
and
the front porch.
I think it's a classic case of kind of the same people that were around in 2018 are no longer with the town either. There's been a lot of change of hands too.
Right.
Aaron and I was obviously on then, and I'm with you. I can distinctly remember Peter, having the same opinion as all of us that stopping traffic, coming up Brook Road, especially in the wintertime. Well, you're just going to turn that into a bottleneck, especially when the roads are bad and all that. You really need the momentum.
Right.
So I think the big thing is just trying to get a hold of it. And I think it's going to be on some kind of state level because of the way that this kind of all came about. The contractors doing it, that's what they are. They're just following whatever, orders they've been given. So, we might have to reach out, Zara, to someone at AOT or
I wonder if
something
Michelle
like that.
Redmond, is that her name?
Yeah.
Michelle Redmond? Is that her name, Paul?
Yeah, Michelle Redmond, and at bare minimum, the more people you call,
She would know, maybe?
the sooner we're gonna get somewhere.
Right, and I think, the other thing that concerns me, I thought. Sandy, you might know the answer to this. I thought there was something around, looks like they're also putting a ton of speed limit signs, like legal, whether it's legal speed limit, like every. Intersection or whatever, you have to put a speed limit sign, but we're not gonna have that for the rest of the town. Is that? Okay, I mean, like you would only have it for one road and not for the rest of the town?
I think
Well,
it's-
the
you have to-
reason they're doing this, Liz, is because technically the throughway from, I think it's East Hill, and they had done this however many years ago, from East Hill all the way down the interstate or kind of where John Picard lives. They had done all of that, and that was considered one of the main thoroughfares, and the state somehow assumed that to be make it eligible in order to get funding and grant money for this. That's how this works. The rest is simply on the town in that regard.
Okay, and you said that there is a cost for us to get out of this.
So when I read the paperwork, it said that if we pulled out, that all of the, planning and work and the da-da-da-da, that the municipality would have to pay that.
Well, I'm sure we could hopefully make an amendment if that's the case, because,
I think we
I mean, anybody with common sense, come to that intersection and look at it, not look at it on a piece of paper, because, I mean, the only way it's gonna work is if they stop all three directions, if they're really gonna like,
Exactly.
Right.
and
I'd
that's
rather have
not, that's
that
not
than have it
practical.
be.
No, I mean, that's crazy too, because you can't stop coming down that hill
Yeah.
in the wintertime, just like I don't wanna stop coming up Brook Road to make the hill.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, you already have one stop at the three-way intersection and that's enough. I guess that's the point
Yeah.
I'm trying to make, and it's perpendicular to the main flow of traffic. I
It's the
understand
logical
that
place
Center
to
Road
put it.
is this,
Yeah,
but that's
Yeah.
unfortunate, but that's just a name, you know what I mean?
Yeah, also, signs get stolen all the time.
Well, I mean,
I'm not saying.
I mean, it was put on paper, I'm sure, somebody can amend it, if that's what I'd like to understand exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Before I even,
And try
Maybe
to
you don't
figure
have to
out who
amend
we
it,
can,
but-
who we can actually
Yeah.
talk to that actually knows something.
so someone is contracting with this company to do this, and that's who we need to talk, yeah, that's who we need to find out is. who-
I'm just surprised they don't at least talk to the road commissioner before they actually come in town and start driving.
I know, I'm like, what is this? I know, it's so weird.
Send an email to the clerk at least saying, hey, we're finally coming after
Right.
8 years. Yeah.
It's very
Okay.
strange.
Well, thanks
So
for the
we are
time.
gonna keep in
Yep.
on this, sorry.
Yeah,
Karen,
thanks,
I
Erin.
don't have a better, better information for you this time.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Okay, so the other correspondence is just about some noise. And this is different noise. This is noise from a truck that was allegedly making coming in and starting to do work at 6 a.m. on Notch Road. And the person who lives right there was disturbed by the noise. And so I informed this person, Peter, his name is, he's the person who contacted us, that we don't have a noise ordinance, right? And so, but what I learned online is that, like, by default, you can, that there's the state noise ordinance, which is sunrise to sunset, technically, right? That you need to sort of keep the peace, be quiet from sunset to, or I'm sorry, sunset to sunrise. So I have a feeling that this person who was making the noise probably knows that, and it was probably right around sunrise that they were coming in and doing their work. And if that's the case, I'm not sure what, the guy said he reached out to, Peter said he reached out to the logger and didn't get a response. And, I told him we don't have an enforcement mechanism in town to enforce these kinds of things, right? So, I said that, I would try to find this logger and just ask them, but like, I think, I never got anything back. I think that, my feeling is that they were probably doing this at sunrise, which was like, 6:10 in the morning at the time, right? That's like, that's technically legal, right? Because we don't have a noise ordinance. And, people have said, should we have a noise ordinance? And that is a deeper conversation that we as a board could take up if we want to. Things that come to mind for me are, I would probably rather revert to the state's statute. Because we can't enforce it and we won't enforce it. And if we had one, we are in a town where people like to target shoot and people like to hunt, and it's like, I think we really want to encourage people to try to resolve those issues on their own in their own neighborhoods. And before the town starts to, create these ordinances that we can't enforce, right? We don't have a sheriff, so we're not hiring a sheriff to enforce ordinances. And we don't have the staff or, law enforcement to do so. So I don't know what the board's wish is, if they think that we should have a noise ordinance that we can't enforce, just so that people know that, like, we could come and give them $100 fine if we wanted to. I mean, that is an option, right? Like you could,
Hey, Liz.
yes, Paul.
I think it's important for residents of all walks of life to remember that the construction seasons are short. Daylight hours fluctuate in the spring and the fall. 6:30 a.m. to a lot of me is not early.
Right.
6:30 is very normal starting hours. And again, with the construction being, the season being so short, and the bottom line is pretty soon our good friend Derek McKeever is going to be firing up 4, 5, 6
We're kind of losing you, Paul.
trucks to haul sand by Peter's house.
Paul, we kind of lost you on a little bit of that.
Weeks. So the good news is you're yes, because I guarantee you'll be getting. Do I have you?
No, we lost most of what you said, but I think the gist of it is that construction season is short.
6 a.m. is not.
6 a.m. is not an early time, and sunrise to sunset, makes sense, right? Especially during the construction season. And so, I think that a noise ordinance, while in spirit could be an okay thing. I would rather that we defer to the state's statute and say that we can't enforce it. And that, I know that sounds like lame, but yes.
In my past job, I would deal with noise ordinances.
Oh, perfect.
Noise complaints. They're impossible.
Okay, good.
We're talking about the only type that is even remotely doable, and that's a time generated one. Once you get into the intensity of the sound, you're talking decibels, you're talking decibel meters, and you're talking calibration, and you're talking, multiple times, you have to go to prove your case. And it's all totally subjective.
Yeah,
It's really, I would stay far away.
yes, okay. And do you mind just stating your name for the record? I know you're the.
Sean McVeigh.
SPAN, right?
Yes. Melissa.
Yeah.
Liz, am I back?
Yeah, now you're back, Paul. Yep.
Yeah, I'm coming to U32. I think the other thing to remember is our good friend Eric is about to fire up a fleet of sand hauling trucks from the Notch Road pit to the town garage. So likely won't be the last you hear of Peter, unfortunately.
Okay. All right. Yeah. It's just the reality of living anywhere for that matter. Right?
Correct.
Noise happens.
I have another correspondence.
Yes.
And it's Linda. She sells houses. I will get the name from the thing. Jackson. Linda Jackson, thank you, has asked several times about guardrails. I know we've discussed that.
Yeah.
I just want to put it on the minutes. I have written back to her what we've spoken about, but I just want to add this.
Okay. So, so Linda's talking about a specific area that she thinks could use a guardrail, and then there's also the separate conversation of, do we as a town, which will be another discussion at a later time, do we as a town want to sign the highway, road and bridges standards that checks off the box that says we will install guardrails wherever guardrails are required, right?
I don't think it says specifically that. Eric's pointed out that it's only for new.
It's only for new things, right? For any new construction, like, and it has something to do with, you know, the drop off angle or whatever, you know, degree of, you know, or how big the drop off is that determines whether or not, when we did some new construction on the road, would we be required to put a guardrail there? The reason that it could be positive to check that box is because it would potentially open us up to funding that would help pay for that guardrail. On the other hand, it costs money to put a guardrail in, so if we do check that box and it's not eligible for any funding, we would have to pay for the guardrail. And so the question is, and this is really, you know, for something like Eric and Zara and Paul to think about, who have worked with roads, to be able to say, hey, Glory, to be able to say, hey, based on my experience, you know, we might have had to put in more guardrails than we could afford to put in, or no, based on my experience, I think this is a great idea because we can get more funding. So that's a larger conversation that we should consider, that Zara would like us to put on to a future agenda.
Yes.
This particular situation would apply to any of this. This is just like, hey, this area needs a guardrail. And I think that part of me says, well, that's opening up a can of worms because there's a lot of places that use guardrails, right? That we just don't have the capacity or money to put guardrails in. But
Where's this location? Where's this happening?
So we're on Center Road where we just put in that really large box culvert. That's a little sketchy. But there are more and more places where we've lost trees that we used to have along the
Right.
road that have now eroded because of the floods. And I guess for me, my consideration is the loss of life, the potential loss of life for somebody in the community. And then if we chose not to put guardrails that could have saved them, the potential lawsuit for you know, us not doing what we need to do to keep the town, people safe.
I don't know the answers to the question, but I don't think necessarily that our roads, I don't think that they can sue us for not putting in a guardrail if we didn't have to put in a guardrail. I don't know.
I think we just have more places where we need to determine that now than we
Right.
have in the past.
Yeah. And then also knowing that if the road is fragile, those guardrails are gonna be hard to put in.
Right.
All right, so I thought there was something else under, no, oh, the fitness team.
The fitness team, before we do that, and I've, the cemetery committee
Oh, yeah.
has a new member, Del McDonough. So if we need to vote her in, I don't know. So we've got Betsy Davis, we've got Matt Rickiak, who's also on the budget committee, and this Del McDonough, who's, like an end-of-life doula. And we met with Gary at North Branch yesterday, and Gary has informed us that he is going to withdraw from the commission probably in November.
Okay,
And then Bill May probably won't do our digging anymore because he's not part of it. But we've got three really great people.
Okay.
Who met together. Del needs to be added to that.
so I think they can vote for it because they have a quorum now.
Okay, great.
Yeah, so they can vote for it.
Was there any more talk or if you wanted to expand that because of the situation that happened? And I know it wouldn't be up to the Selectboard, probably the town meeting, but to expand that to a 5-person board?
I'd love to see that and hopefully they.
Although we may not be able to
hopefully they
get
can do
somebody
that.
to.
Yeah, no, I thought I was at 4 yesterday and I went back to 3, so.
Oh, so there's two, yes, so 2 people make a quorum for 3, so yes, they can vote her in.
Okay, great.
Okay, good.
I'll let them.
All right.
So fit.
Yeah, so fit.
So the people that I have for fit are Dorinda Crowell, Sarah Merriman, Sandra Levine, Susan Clark, John Lund, Douglas Lombard, Dave Magida, Ken Davis, John Rahel, Dexter LaFever, and myself. Am I
Okay.
missing anybody? Do you want to be part of that?
I would like to be.
Oh,
And
Larry,
Larry.
great, that's awesome. Okay,
And Paul, no offense, but
Does Paul want to be part of it?
no, he was worried about being stretched too thin. I already took you off because there's so many members of the road committee. We're gonna have a quorum there if we keep you. So we'll have you as an on-call guy we can ask questions to.
For the road committee?
Yeah,
Okay.
I love it.
excellent.
So Sandy, do we have to vote on these committees? Like this?
I don't know, but it never hurts to actually make a formal appointment.
Yeah.
To the,
Okay.
I'm saying that's what you did with the road committee, so that
Yeah,
it's clear that this is.
we didn't
something
warn
sanctioned
that,
by
but does
the
anyone mind
select
if we do that?
I don't think
I
anybody's gonna
don't
care.
think they're gonna care, so let's just, make a motion to approve, and maybe I'll make the motion, and I'll make the motion to approve with the, committee members for the Team Fit, which stands for Facilities, Infrastructure, and
Team, facilities improvement team.
Facilities Improvement Team. And thank you to all the folks who are volunteering their time. Thank you, Sandy. You're such a good woman.
Yes, thank you.
I'm not a good woman.
Well, I would say.
I'm not going back to that right now.
Oh, good.
And so it will have 2 board members on it, is that right? Just 2, right?
Just
Yeah,
2.
okay. Alrighty, so I make that motion, is there a second?
Somebody online.
Yeah, Paul, why don't you second that? You can, or Stacy?
I will second that.
Okay, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Hi.
Great. Alrighty, so, I think that's it. Before we adjourn, we should adjourn right now. Oh, I just want to make a quick heads up about the, so there is, I'm asking Lowry to look at that historical preservation grant for the town hall. Work that he wants to do for the weatherization. There's $20,000, it's 50-50 match. And I think the work that we would be doing, which would include some sort of, work to, shore up the roof. And to dig the trench around for weatherization, I think this will qualify for that. So if anyone has any objections to us pursuing that, speak now or forever hold your peace.
So we'd be spending $50,000 to dig this trench?
No. It's a 50-50 grant, meaning it's a 50% match.
Right.
We provide 50% of the funds. They provide 50% of the funds up to 20,000.
Oh,
So if the job costs 40,000, they would give us 20. If the job costs 30,000, they'd give us 15.
And you might be able to include, volunteer labor as.
Yes, yeah, and yes, we might be able to include volunteer labor, and he's really hoping now, what part of me was like, felt bad that I didn't put him on the agenda, because I felt like we voted that we would move forward with this weatherization, but then he's also come forward and said, well, it's gonna cost a little bit more because we need to do this and this, but he also, has a lot of volunteer labor, so I was just gonna go back to the minutes to see if maybe I need to put this on the next agenda for like paying for it. But I know we approved moving forward with it. I don't think we approved a dollar value.
well, we do have that $50,000 in grant matching that we placed into the budget this year, so we do have the money.
But also we have, well, yes, there's that, but we were gonna use the town hall building fund money. That we have like $100,000 in there to do repairs on the town hall and all that.
And we did do the test digging and we found good
Yeah.
news, at least as of the one side. It is a fully poured foundation, and
Oh, good.
there was a lot of drain stone around it and there was actually some vapor barrier. So that was
Oh,
really
good.
welcoming to see.
Yeah, good. Yeah, and I will say the bones of this building are good. We've gotten confirmation about that. So, I don't think it's a bad thing to be investing in it, even if we intend to sell it at some future time. Okay, so let's adjourn, the meeting.
Wait a minute, Gloria's here for a reason, what is that?
It's here for the
Oh,
abatement meeting that starts at
gotcha.
6:30. Yes. So we're gonna adjourn the meeting at 6:26 and we will reopen a new meeting for the Board of Abatement at 6:30. Okay? Yes.